Okay, guys, as promised, it's Monday, and we're gonna have the bookshelf tour video. So, I've got a lot of stuff, and I kind of started this channel around the time I was selling off like half of my collection, and I had already sold off a bunch of things like before I kind of started this channel. So, you guys are gonna see what is it, like 7 bookshelves, I think, of stuff. And trust me, guys, like I had way more than this. Like I probably sold off like half of what I had before. Okay, I had so much stuff, it was piled everywhere. Like it wasn't even all neat and set up like this. Like if you guys go back and have seen like any of the earlier videos, like stuff is just like in piles and stacks everywhere, every which way. It's not neat, it's not organized. I was sorting by vibe, and there were just so many times I'm just like, where's this thing? I know I have it somewhere. Is it under this pile of stuff that I organized purely by vibe, or is it under the other pile of stuff that is organized purely by vibe? So I finally have everything organized. And if you've been following the channel, we got new floors in too, and I set up a new bookshelf, and we're making things nice and fancy. There's still a few small, tiny projects that I have to do. Like I have to get a new cover to put over the lights here, and a little goofy to show, but I do have a new vent now that I'm gonna be putting, or a new case thingy, that I'm gonna be putting over the hole right there. That there's, yeah, you guys can see there's like a little like towel in there. I know it looks awful, but I got a new one. I just got to put it in. I just been lazy, and we've just been doing a whole bunch of projects down here in the basement. There's so much stuff you guys don't really see outside this room that we've been putting together. And yeah, but I've been rambling for a couple minutes here. I'll just go ahead and I will, and then let me zoom out here, and then we will go. So I'm gonna give you guys the overview before I actually go in individually. So I know, also had to excuse me, there might be like little like pieces of like plastic and stuff. I have not swept up here, and I do need to, and there's little like dust over there. I don't know how well you guys could see it, but I'll give you guys an overview. These two racks here, I have not seen any of those movies yet. The boxes on top of them are movies I took out, and they're just here without the boxes. I can move them around easier. This first shelf is the last remains of my comic book collection, and then there's the remains of my record collection at the bottom and some photography books. This shelf here, and I promise I'm not going to get back into the habit of just putting random stacks here, but I'll get to these. They're here in a random stack for a reason. It'll be fixed soon. But this shelf here is my shelf of favorites. And then these two are every movie that I've seen. They're in alphabetical order from A ending with Zoolander. And then the bottom two shelves are my favorite directors. I just couldn't help but put some things by vibe. So everything else is like alphabetical order, but then there's like a few spots where it's like, well, these ones are my favorites, okay? And then we start here with the books. So there are anthologies up here, and those first like 3 shelves, I believe, are anthologies. And then we start with fiction with A, and then this is all fiction. The fiction is not sorted by read it, have not read it, like the movies are, because I don't have enough space for that. And then the fiction continues to right here with Gwennon Green. That's where fiction ends, and then nonfiction begins. The rest is nonfiction, okay? And then, sorry for the mess, but this is my standing desk, and this is my new little desk, and sometimes I will stand up here and type, sometimes I will sit down and type, sometimes I stand up here and edit the videos, sometimes I sit down. I try to do about 50-50, and sorry for this mess. I was cutting out the custom DVD covers, and these are just a whole bunch of like family photos and stuff that I found while cleaning up down here. So I gave you guys the overview, and now we're gonna go into the little tour. So again, apologies for having a few things in the way, but we will get to those. So we are starting with my favorite author, Cornell Woolrich. I did an entire video going more in depth on Cornell Woolrich, and I think it's like an hour-long video, and so I'm not going to go too in-depth with him here, considering I've already done that. But we've got this collection here, Angels of Darkness, which has the worst cover art. Seriously, it's hideous. And then we've got The Best of William Irish, which is one of his pen names. We've got 3 copies of Beyond the Night. We've got this old school copy of The Black Angel, and then 2 more copies of the 80s reprint with the awful cover. We've got Black Alibi. I know a lot of his books have black in the title. The Black Curtain. We've got The Black Path of Fear. This is Blues of a Lifetime, which is a little autobiography that he left behind that I guess it wasn't intended for anybody but himself. I think they found it in like a safety deposit box, and it wasn't even finished. And it gives you a lot of insight into Cornell and who he was, but there's more on that in the really long video I did. I don't want this, because this video itself is going to be over an hour, I already know. We got Bluebeard's Seventh Wife. I have not read this one. And we've got The Bride Wore Black. Amazing book and amazing movie, too. We've got another printing of The Bride Wore Black. We've got The Dancing Detective, which is kind of a funny name for a book. We've got Darkness at Dawn. Deadline at Dawn. Deadly Night Call. And 2 copies of these that are, I don't know, some like book club, like book of the month thingy that has 3 different books in them. And this is For Eyes That Watch You, which is a short story collection by Cornell that he published under William Irish. I have 2 copies of it because 1 copy was really gross, and so I bought another one. Like, the 1 copy was gross because I think it was this one here in the nice Mylar that when I like opened it and took it out the plastic and everything, like it was like a team bag or something, like a huge one he had wrapped around it. When I took it out of that and I was looking through it, like the tiniest like little bugs like fell out of the spine, and I think it was probably just like 2 little bugs, but I was grossed out and I was like, I'm just gonna get another copy, and it was cheap too. 3 copies here of Fright, which is another great book, could make a great movie. The Hard Case Crime reprint. I've got 2 of those, and then I've got this old school version with a great cover. We've got, well, this is a biography of Cornell that I threw in here. First You Dream, Then You Die. I have a lot of problems with this because I feel it was not well researched, and I'm actually really happy because this guy that wrote, if you look up Cornell, and it's like one of the first results on Google, there will be an article about Cornell that's very long and in-depth, which is much better researched than this book. That same guy that wrote the article that I'm telling you about that's on Google, he said on Twitter that he's going to actually be releasing his own biography of Cornell Woolrich, which I'm really excited for because I want one that's well researched. I will say, though, I have not read this one yet by Francis M. Nevins Jr., so I have not read this one. Everything I have to say about it is kind of just secondhand information. I do want to read it eventually. It is very chunky. So one day I will. We've got Into the Night, which is, I did not enjoy this one. I actually will probably end up just selling this copy because I don't want things that I don't like in my collection. I think I held on to it because I was mentioning it in a What Did I Read This Month video, and then I think I just kind of forgot to sell it when I sold some other things. I don't care if it's one of my favorite, if it's my favorite author. I just, if I don't like a book, I'm gonna get rid of it. We have If I Should Die Before I Wake, a short story collection. I Married a Dead Man, which is one of Cornell's just absolute best. We've got this book with the cringe title, Literary Noir. I don't know, this is just some modern printing where somebody threw together a few of his stories, they licensed them. Night in Fear. We've got Nightmare, which is one I do want to read pretty soon. We've got 2 versions of Nightwebs, the hardcover that has the extra 4 stories in it, and then the soft cover, which is missing the extra 4 stories. I don't know why. And then we have Night Has a Thousand Eyes, another good one, just a little too long. 2 copies of that. Rear Window, and 4 short novels. The audacity of them to call these short novels when these are short stories. It's like barely the length of one novel, okay? That's Chomper. For those that don't know, I wrote a comic book, and Chomper's the main character in it, and this was a nice plush toy that we had made. Here, I'll get to these books in a second. I'm just gonna move them out the way. So, continuing with Cornell, we have Phantom Lady. We have this omnibus that has a Rear Window and other stories. I Married a Dead Man and Waltz into Darkness. And then we have Rendezvous in Black, which is one of my absolute favorites. That's a nice older copy, and this is a newer copy. We've got Savage Bride. And then Strangler Serenade. Waltz into Darkness. A very Kino cover. Really awesome cover. The only thing is this one is abridged. That is an abridged edition. And here's the regular edition of Waltz into Darkness. And then this 10-cent thingy, You'll Never See Me Again. And then that's where we end with Cornell. Now, the rest of the shelf is my other favorite authors. You'll have to forgive me because the titles themselves are in alphabetical orders, but the authors themselves are not. I just kind of arranged it in whichever way kind of fit. So we are starting off with both of these are William Friedkin's memoir. This one is a nice hardcover that I got off eBay, and it is signed. You know, guys, I cannot read cursive really, but it's even worse with the younger generation because I could at least read most of this, okay? It's for somebody with my very best wishes, William Friedkin, but I showed this to my little sister, and she's 22, and she's just like, what does any of that say? I was like, well, it's for somebody. I can't read that. I really don't know whose name that is. But yeah, 4/11/14, that's when he signed it. My little sister was like, I'm kind of sad, like he signed it for somebody and then they sold it. And I was like, I don't care, I need it more. Here is my copy of Demons 5, Exorcists Nothing by William Peter Blatty. This is also signed. I got this like 5 or 6 years ago. To Jeff. Hope you like this one as much as the 9th configuration. That's what it says. And then we've got an older printing of The Exorcist that I did pick up, I don't know, maybe like a couple months ago, because I read years ago this one, which is the like 40th anniversary edition, where I think he was like, all right, I want to change a few things. And I think he really just touched up the writing a little bit. And while I really like, I know the story like front and back, but like I really am not gonna know like the differences if I read this one versus the older edition. But I did want to read the older edition just to read it like the way it came out. So eventually I'm gonna read that older edition. We've got William Peter Blatty on The Exorcist, from novel to film. This has the Exorcist screenplay in it and some other goodies, but I have not read this book. Finding Peter, which is a bit of a memoir, and it is really excellent, actually. I read that a few years ago. This one I picked up recently, I'll Tell Them I Remember You. I was looking for this book. It is a bit of a memoir, and I found a signed edition, and the seller accepted my offer, and I really had to get it. So yes, I have 2 William Peter Blatty autographs, so yeah, that's amazing. And we've got Legion, which is a really excellent, amazing book. Very different from the movie in some ways, and in other ways very similar. William Peter Blatty wrote, I think, like 12 different drafts of this that are all like very different, and some characters in the book did not make it to the movie, and I think there's some videos out there that actually compare all the different versions of the screenplay for Legion, if anybody's interested, and also the 9th configuration. Now we've got Vladimir Nabokov. I recently have gotten into a Vladimir Nabokov phase. And let's see, we've got Ada or Ardor. I hope I said that right. I have not read this one yet. I just picked this one up. The Defense, which I have not read. Despair, which is a really good one. Invitation to a Beheading, which is one of those titles where I'm just going to be walking around wishing I came up with Invitation to a Beheading. Laughter in the Dark, which is probably has been my favorite one so far of Vladimir Nabokov books. Pale Fire, which I got 100 pages in. I did not like it, but I am going to give this one another shot eventually, maybe through audiobook though. Speak Memory, which is a memoir. I have not read it yet. And then this nice chunky, The Stories of Vladimir Nabokov, which I believe has 68 short stories in there, in this nice chunky thing. Next, we got David Grann, probably my favorite nonfiction writer. And we're starting with The Devil and Sherlock Holmes, which honestly, it's not a bad book, but it's got a few different stories in it. Some are stronger than others, so it's kind of the weakest of the David Grann books because all the other ones have just very strong stories that they're very gripping and interesting. This one's like kind of like 70-30 maybe. Like I forget how many stories are in there, 10, 12, something along those lines. And most of them are good. Some of them are not so good. I mean, they're all well written, but just not very interesting, Killers of the Flower Moon, like in my top 3 nonfiction books I ever read, and probably my favorite of David Grann's books. I have not read this one, The Lost City of Z. I'm kind of like putting this one off because it's like the last one I need to read. Like I've read the other ones, like The Wager, which is really good, and I think there was talk about this becoming a movie, but I don't know if that's still happening. And then The White Darkness, which is also really good. I really enjoyed all those thoroughly. Killers of the Flower Moon, I read in like 2 days. I think The Wager, maybe in like 3 or 4 days I read that thing. The Lost City of Z, I'm just torn because I'm like, I want to read it soon, but then there's no more new David Grann books after I read that. I don't know if he's working on anything new, but it's like, I don't know, it just takes him forever to put out these books. And then I guess I could talk a little bit about this stack here. And this is just stuff I kind of want to read next, but I've never been one to make a like to read pile, because every time I like make a pile, I like, even right now, like I had this pile and then I was like, maybe I'll go through, and then I started reading stuff that just was not in the pile. So maybe eventually I'll just put these back, but I might read this one next. And this is another Vladimir Nabokov book, The Real Life of Sebastian Knight. And then I got this in recently, Requiem for a Dream. I've heard this is a really insane book, and I have not seen the movie yet, so I figured I'd read it and then see the movie. And this is Nobody's Angel by Jack Clark. Apparently Tarantino really likes this book, so I was like, I guess I'll see what it's about. This one is Charles Willeford, Understudy for Death. One of my buddies was telling me that you should check out this author, because he was just telling me like the authors I would like this author, and I happen to have just one book by Charles Willeford. I don't even think this is like one of his popular books, but it's just one I had because it's hard case crime, and I was buying a lot of hard case crime. And so I guess I was like, I guess I'll just check out my buddy's recommend. But yeah, I just don't know when I'll get to these. Black Wings Has My Angel by Elliot Chase. I just hear a lot about it, that it's like really amazing, and the movie rights have been sold a million times, but it never got made. I don't know. And then Thomas Pynchon, Inherent Vice. I recently got this one because I watched a couple Paul Thomas Anderson movies. I'm like, oh my god, these are like really amazing, and I want to watch some more of them. And this book became one of his movies, and I was like, I don't know, I guess I'll read it before I see the movie. But the thing is like, at one point or another, I'm like, yeah, I'm in the mood for these, but I'm reading something else right now. And then whenever I finish what I'm reading, I'll probably be in the mood for something different. So speaking of what I'm reading, I guess I'll just show you guys real quick. I'm going through some of the short novels of John Steinbeck. I just read Cannery Row, which was great, and I'm one chapter into The Pearl, but The Pearl isn't really even a novel. It's like a short story or novella at best. It's 60 pages. I'm like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 pages in. So yeah, we're going a little bit out of order there, but that's just kind of what I'm reading now. Down here, we've got Jim Thompson. I love Jim Thompson, love him to death. We're starting with After Dark, My Sweet, which is a really good book and a good movie too. This is one of his autobiographies. He's got 2 of them. It's called Bad Boy. I really don't like that title, to be honest. It's a little cringe, but I have not read this one yet. The Criminal, which was a good book, and one of the few books that I'd say I wish it were longer. The Getaway, one of my favorite books of all time, and really amazing, incredible, great movie, actually. The Killer Inside Me, Great book. The movie was not so good. The Kill Off. Have not read this one yet. Nothing More Than Murder. It was all right. The Nothing Man. I didn't like this one, and I think I just kept it because it was for a what did I read this month video, and I just didn't sell it yet. But that one's going in the pile. Pop 1280. Really good book, but it just kind of just randomly ends. I think Criterion just put out the movie that is based on this. I can't recall the title because it's a French title. Roughneck, which is one of Jim's 2 autobiographical books. This one was pretty good. Savage Knight, which I have not read yet. A Swell Looking Babe, I have not read yet. And Wild Town, I have not read yet. And then this is Savage Art, which is a biography of Jim Thompson. I have not read that one yet. So, all right, I just showed you guys that Steinbeck book, which I don't think I mentioned, but it comes with Tortilla Flat, The Moon is Down, The Red Pony, Of Mice and Men, Cannery Row, and The Pearl. I've read those last 3. I have not, well, I'm reading that 3rd one. And then the first 3 I have not read. Eventually I will. We've got East of Eden, which is one of the greatest novels I've ever read. Of course it is. Of Mice and Men. I had this single copy before I bought that big fancy collected edition. So this is definitely going in the sell pile because I don't need the extra copy of it. And then we've got A Father's Story by Lionel Dahmer. Excellent, amazing book. We've got Nobody's Girl by Virginia Guffrey. I still to this day don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but a really important book. And if there's one book I show you guys in this entire video that you really have to pick up, it's this book. It's very important. And then if there's a second book, it would be this one, Silence No More by Sarah Ransom. Both of these 2 women, for anybody that doesn't know, they are Epstein survivors, and these are their memoirs. Next, we've got Chaos by Tom O'Neill. And it's a wonderful book, and he is working on a second book. He talks in this book about having so much information over, because it took him 20 years. He was gathering information for 20 years. He was like, I've got so much, I couldn't even fit it all into this book. I actually messaged him on Instagram, and I was like, Tom, are you making it a second book though? And he just replied with a thumbs up. I was like, yes, when's it coming out? And then he said a couple years. I was like, no, like it's so long from now. And then we've got They'll Get You by Mark Pellegrini. This is my buddy Mark. We did a podcast together for like 3 years. And this is a really amazing book. He writes comic books too. I just wish he would do more novels. I would like to see, I would just like to see him do more horror stuff. We've got a couple philosophy books here. This is Discourses by Epictetus, and then this is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Meditations is one of the only books that I've ever actually reread in my life, like entirely. A lot of these books, I'll come back and I'll revisit like a part of them, like a certain chapter or scene or something that I really liked. But reading it through cover to cover, I haven't really done that for an entire book because I've got so many I want to get through. It's just going to take too long to straight up reread something. But Meditations, I reread completely. Epictetus, I didn't reread it completely, but I revisited like a lot of it, so maybe like a time and a half. Next, these will eventually all be in their proper sections, but I'm working on something very important. So, I love Stanley Kubrick, and all his movies, except for his very first 2, are based on books. And so I have all but 2 here. One of them, Barry Lyndon, is on the way. It'll be here in the next day or 2. The other one is called The Short Timers, which became Full Metal Jacket. It goes for like $70 to $100. I really want to get it. I'm kind of saving up so I could try to get it by the time the box set comes out from Criterion with all of Stanley's movies, because I want to have a picture of all the books next to all the movies, okay? So that's all these here. Oh, actually, I skipped over one. This is Interactivity by Narwhal, one of my buddies on Twitter. It's a book about writing. Very excellent. But we've got The Killing by Lionel White, originally published as a Clean Break. Paths of Glory by Humphrey Cobb, Spartacus by Howard Fast, Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, one of the best books I've ever read. Red Alert by Peter Bryant. This is like a cheap, like print-on-demand copy from Amazon. 2001: A Space Odyssey, which I did not finish reading this book. I think I got through like 70 pages of it, but it was just, not to sound too pretentious, it just kind of felt like it was just putting the movie back into words, and I just didn't like that experience, but I might give it another shot. A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess, great book. The Shining by Stephen King, very different from the movie, and I do like the movie more, but it's not a bad book. It's got some goofy stuff in there, but it's not too bad. And then Dream Story by Arthur Schnitzler. That's a fun name to say. So like I said, those are just there just because I needed a spot for them while I put together that project of Stanley Kubrick adaptations. So let me sit down here. Jeez, okay. These are all Stephen King books. Outside this little stack here, this is just the short story collection I self-published. So, Stephen King. I know I've said this a few times on the channel. I'll tell you guys again. The shorter, the better, and the older, the better. That's why his best book is his first short story collection, Night Shift. But we're starting here with 11/22/63. Now, everything I just told you about older, the better, and shorter, the better, is completely thrown out the window with this book. I don't know what it was about when Uncle Stevie here sat down to write 11/22/63. He has not been able to write anything this good in modern times ever. I'm just not a fan of modern Stephen King, really. Outside of this book, I've read like one modern Stephen King that was okay, and all the other ones have been bad. Like his book called Later, that Hard Case Crime put out, just god awful. One of the worst things I've ever read. You would think like a random guy on Twitter wrote that one. And just modern Stephen King is just full of just like taking shots at like politicians and just cringing, and it just makes me cringe, and it's just not even well written. This is a joke, but I just really wish he would start taking cocaine again, okay? But I just don't know. I don't know how. This thing is like 1,000 pages, okay? You could see there, it's like over 1,000 pages. This thing's like almost 1,100 pages, all right? And it's from 2011 or 2012, around there. And it is just such a great book, and I just don't know how he like found it in him to randomly be like, I'm gonna write like 10 really awful novels, and then this really great one, and then I'm gonna write like another like 10 just like really awful novels. Like this is the standout. This one's like the best from modern Stephen King. This is just hands down the best one. I can't get over how good this was. Like, oh my god. It's just really like out of all the Stephen King books here, this is the one I'm closest to rereading. Like really, I really would reread this. I just really enjoyed that one. Next, we have the Bachman books. The only one I've read here is Rage. This has Rage, The Long Walk, Roadwork, and The Running Man. Rage was awful, and I almost feel like Stephen King took that one out of print. I think that's his only one that's out of print, and I think he took it out of print not because a school shooter was like, oh, this is a good book, I'm going to shoot up my school now, but I think he was just embarrassed of how bad it was, that he's like, yeah, I'm just going to take that one out of print. Rage was awful. All I remember from it is a character, it is just so funny, gets mad when they find out that Richard Stark is Donald E. Westlake's pen name. That's all I remember from that book. And I haven't read the other ones yet, The Long Walk, Roadwork, or The Running Man, but I do want to. This one's, is it Bazaar of Bad Dreams? I might have read like a short story or two in this one. I haven't read the whole thing. Carrie, which is the one I started with. I gave a relative my actual copy of Carrie that I got back in 15 or 16. This one I picked up a few years ago from Half Price Books. I even left the sticker on, but I wanted this really cool copy with just the awesome cover. So that's that. Recently I picked this one up, Christine. Maybe I'll read that one around October. We've got The Colorado Kid, Creepshow, Cujo, Cycle of the Werewolf, which I really like. I really enjoy that one. It has the awesome Bernie Wrightson art. Different Seasons. I don't think I've read anything in this one. Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. Now, this one's like, I'm like torn on it because it's like it had some good parts, it had some stupid parts. It even had some parts that are like so bad it's good, but it's modern Stephen King, so it's just not going to come anywhere remotely close to The Shining or any of his older stuff. Duma Key, I keep hearing this one's underrated. I just haven't read it yet. It's big and chunky, maybe eventually. And then we've got Everything's Eventual, 14 Dark Tales. Haven't read this one. Firestarter, wasn't so big on it. It is one I'll give another chance to, maybe. Fort Past Midnight. This one... did I read anything in this one? Oh no, I did. Okay. So this one's got The Langoliers, Secret Window, Secret Garden, The Library Policeman, and The Sundog. I read The Langoliers and Secret Window, Secret Garden, and I think I got brain damage from reading Langoliers. I did not read the other two yet, The Library Policeman and The Sundog, but yeah, that's Fort Past Midnight. I only still have this one because I do want to give the other two a shot. Gerald's Game, really dig this book. If It Bleeds, this is a modern Stephen King book, and I have not read it yet. I don't even remember why I picked it up. I think maybe just because it was cheap, but I really don't pick up really modern Stephen King books anymore. Joyland, which I heard is all right, but I just haven't read it yet. Just After Sunset, short story collection, haven't read it. Let's see, Misery, which is one of my all-time favorite books. I really do dig this one. I sold my copy that had like the awful modern cover and got this really cool one. And then Night Shift, like I said, this is Stephen King's like best book. Nightmares and Dreamscapes, haven't read anything in that one. The Outsider, which is a modern Stephen King book. I bought this one in 2018 when it came out. So I got into Stephen King around 2016, and I read a lot of like his popular books. And then I was just like, well, what's he up to now? I don't know. I didn't know anything about Stephen King really, and I had really just been into like comic books at the time, and so this is like when I was getting into novels, and I was like, well, I googled him. I was like, oh, he's coming out with a new book, The Outsider, cool. And I just remember it being okay. I don't really remember a whole lot about it. I don't know. Maybe it's one I'll sell eventually. I don't know. Maybe I'll revisit it. I don't know. I just remember it just being like okay. Pet Cemetery, pretty cool. Salem's Lot. To be honest, I did not finish this one. This was one that I quit on it. I got kind of bored, but that was back in the day around when I started reading Stephen King, and you know, things change, taste changes, and I don't know. I don't know if it's like something that I just wasn't ready for, because I think this is the one like right after Carrie that I tried to read. This one's called Secret Windows, and this is just like a bunch of like articles on writing, I think some essays and like introductions from other books you guys could see there. Skeleton Crew, a big chunky book of short stories. I've probably read half of this or so. Sleeping Beauties. This is one, I'll be honest, I did not finish this one. It's a big chunky book, and I actually saw Stephen King and Owen King at it was in one of the suburbs. I think it was in Naperville. They were having a book tour, and I think it was at some college in like a gymnasium. This is like 20, I think it's like around like 2018-ish, around then, 2017 or 18. And I went, and the ticket was like $40, and it came with a copy of the book, and I was just really hoping that it would be signed, because they were like, a few of these are randomly signed, and I didn't know if they meant like, well, is there like 1, 2, 10, half of them that are randomly signed? And I was like crossing my fingers, like, please be signed, but it was not signed. And from time to time, I flip through this, I'm just double checking. I'm like, am I sure it's not signed somewhere? But it's not signed, unfortunately. The Stand, I have not read this one, but it was a cheap pickup from Half Price Books years ago, and apparently it's really Kino, but I've never read it. And then Under the Dome, which, I have not read it yet, but it's a big chunky one, and eventually I will. So, that is my favorite shelf. Now, we are going to go into the movies that I have seen. Alright, so, we are starting with Three Women, 8 Mile, 8mm, amazing movie, 10 to Midnight, 10 Things I Hate About You, 12 Angry Men, 976 Evil, 2010, The Year We Make Contact. You would not believe, actually, how good this movie is. I did not expect the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey to be this good, but it actually really was. Airplane, I have not seen Airplane 2, so that's actually the exception here. Like, there's a few of these that are like double features that I might have seen one, but not the other one. So they're, on here if I've seen at least one of them. We've got Alien and Aliens, Almost Famous, awesome movie. American Graffiti, I remember I watched this at like 3 in the morning one time. I woke up like really sick and I couldn't sleep, and I was just like, why don't I just watch American Graffiti? And so that's the first time I watched American Graffiti. American Mary, awesome movie. American Pie and American Pie 2. I don't know why I had them like flipped backwards. Also, everything should be in alphabetical order. If you guys catch anything that's not, let me know. American Psycho, American Werewolf in London, Amityville, A New Generation. I love these movies so much. Amityville 1992, It's About Time. Amityville, The Evil Escapes, and Amityville Dollhouse. We've got And Justice for All, which is it's not a bad movie. It's just got a couple scenes that just should not be there that I feel kind of like bog it down, but Al Pacino's great, especially his speech at the end. Absolutely amazing. The Apartment, probably hands down my favorite movie of the 1960s. I love it so much. Audition, the Back to the Future trilogy. I don't know why that's in there backwards, but it is. Let me turn that around. Bad Dreams and Visiting Hours. I've seen Bad Dreams. It's a cool movie. Have not seen Visiting Hours. Reservoir Dogs and Bad Lieutenant double feature. 2 awesome movies. But I do prefer Bad Lieutenant. That's why it's here under B, even though the first movie is Reservoir Dogs. Barton Fink. Have not seen this one in a while. It's probably been like 6 years. I'm due for a rewatch of this. I remember really liking it. Basic Instinct. One of my favorite, top 3 favorite movies of all time, okay? Basket Case, and Basket Case 2, and Basket Case 3. We've got The Bay. We've got the Beatles Anthology. Here we have Behind the Mask. We have Better Watch Out, which is, oh my god. So, it is a bootleg my buddy sent me because it wasn't streaming and it was out of print. Now the Blu-ray is like $30 if you get it on Amazon, right? But I'm looking on eBay, and all the eBay sellers are pissing me off because one guy wants I think $14.50 for it, and I put in an offer for $11, and he declines it. I'm like, you're too good to take off $3.50, dude. So I have my bootleg here. I do want to upgrade this one, but the eBayers are greedy, man. Beyond Dreams Door. I remember this one being pretty fun. I've only seen it once. The Big Heat, one of my favorite movies. I have not watched it on the nice fancy Criterion yet. but I do really love The Big Heat. The Big Lebowski, Big Trouble in Little China, Black Christmas, the original, and then Black Christmas, the remake. I do love the remake. Black Coat's Daughter, Blade Runner, The Final Cut. Let's see. We've got the Blair Witch Project and Blair Witch 2. Blair Witch 2 is actually a good sequel. It actually is. I know a lot of people hate on it, but it's actually a good sequel. The Blob remake, Blood Diner, Blood Rage, Bloody Birthday. I love how many movies just have blood in the title. Blood Simple, Body Heat, really awesome movie. Basically a remake of Double Indemnity. Body Bags, Bone Tomahawk, love this movie. Boogie Nights, excellent movie. Tales from the Crypt presents Bordello of Blood. I love this movie so much. I love it even more than Demon Knight. I know everybody loves Demon Knight the most, but Bordello of Blood, fantastic movie. We've got Brick, really awesome movie. Only seen this one once, but I'm due for a rewatch. Brain Damage, Brawl in Cell Block 99, awesome movie. Bride of Reanimator, The Bride Wore Black. Everybody should watch this. I know this is out of print. I'm hoping Criterion brings it back into print. It's an amazing movie. Bring It On, Bronson, Burn After Reading, Blackberry. I just watched this one yesterday. The Blues Brothers, Cat's Eye, Cat People, Cemetery Man, Chappelle Show, Chain Reactions, plus the Chain Reactions replacement disc for disc 3. For some reason, they did not announce that disc 3 was defective and we're having a replacement program. You won't hear about it. They're not going to contact you. It was something that people were only seeing on like the forums. So you got to message them. If you ordered this, message them like, I need my replacement disc, and they'll send it to you. Cherry Falls, Child's Play, and Child's Play 2 and 3, and then the reboot from 2019, which I really did enjoy. Christine, and then Christmas Evil, one of the best Christmas horror movies. This and Better Watch Out, they're just amazing. Chuck Berry's Hail Hail Rock and Roll, awesome movie. Citizen Kane, Clueless, Cobweb, fun movie. The Collector and The Collection, A Complete Unknown, Copland. I know we've all wanted to kill what's his face that's in it. That really annoying dude. I know we've all wanted to kill him. That's just a joke, guys. Creep. This also has Creep 2 in it. Creep Show 3. Of course, I must be the only guy in the world that's like, I've got Creep Show 3. Oh, Rappaport. That's what I was thinking of in Copland. Michael Rappaport. I must be like the only guy that has Creepshow 3, but not 1 and 2. I did sell my copies of 1 and 2. Maybe I'll get them back eventually. I don't know. Cthulhu Mansion. Fun movie. Cure. Dangerous Animals. Very underrated movie. Day of the Beast. From what I remember, this was fun, but I did only see it once. Dead Alive. Dead and Buried. I really did have a good time with this movie. The Dead Girl. Dead Heat. Death Proof. I might call this one like my least favorite Tarantino movie, to be honest. Like least favorite, or maybe like second to least favorite. Demons and Demons 2. I don't remember a thing about them, to be honest. Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight. Diabolique. Fun movie. Devil's Advocate and Insomnia. Love Devil's Advocate. That's a great double feature with Injustice for All. Then we've got Drive. Amazing movie. Donnie Darko and Donnie Brasco. That would be an awesome double feature. Don't Say a Word. Dog Day Afternoon. One of my favorite movies of all time. The Doors. Dolly Dearest. This was my first pickup ever from Vinegar Syndrome. Drop Dead Gorgeous, fun movie. Double Indemnity, like the best noir movie. Dragged Across Concrete, amazing movie. Django Unchained, East of Eden, good movie, but it adapts only one part of the book. I know there is a mini series that adapts the whole thing. I might have to track that one down because I do want to see like the whole thing adapted. But just for adapting part of the book, really great movie. Ed Wood, awesome movie. El Topo, and then The Empty Man, which is a bootleg because unfortunately it never got any sort of release ever. So, let's see. Coming down here, double feature of Collateral Damage and Eraser. I have this under E for Eraser. You have been erased. But I've never seen Collateral Damage. Evil Tunes, one of the best horror movies. The Evil Dead. This case is like a smidge taller maybe than all the other DVD cases because it keeps getting stuck there on the custom shelf, which, by the way, is... Well, actually, you know what? We'll talk about the custom shelves later. Evil Dead 2013. Amazing movie. Evil Spawn. I have not seen this one yet. Exorcist 3. And then for anyone wondering, my copy of The Exorcist, yes, it's down there under the favorite director shelf. Eyes of My Mother, Eyes Without a Face, Fade to Black, Oh Man, He's Just Like Me, Fargo, A Few Good Men. I love George Costanza when he walks in that scene, Seinfeld, like, you can't handle the truth. He just does like such a good job. The Fanatic, I love this movie, oh my god. Fatal Exam, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Final Destination, 5-film collection. The Fly and Fly 2, my custom copies of them, since I sold the big fancy box set with all 5 movies. Todd Browning's Freaks. We got Freeway. The Friends of Eddie Coyle, amazing movie. Fright Night, and the Fright Night DVD. I kept this DVD as an inside joke with my buddy. That's why I have 2 copies of Fright Night. Fright Night Part 2, From Beyond, amazing movie. Here's all the Friday the 13th movies from the Scream Factory box set. The remake of The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. The Game, awesome movie. And The Getaway, the adaptation of the Jim Thompson novel. Absolutely incredible movie. And Get Shorty. Then, let me sit down here, guys. Oh my god. My legs are like gonna cave out from under me. Let's see, we got Ghostbusters. I can't believe they never made a sequel to Ghostbusters. The Girl Can't Help It. Amazing movie. Girl on the Third Floor. I remember this being pretty cool. I've only seen it once. Glengarry Glen Ross. Ginger Snaps. I've been meaning to watch the sequels. I love this movie. Go. I just watched this a few days ago for the first time. Really awesome movie. The Godfather trilogy, plus the Godfather bonus discs. Graduation Day. Cool little slasher movie. Grease, one of my all-time favorites. Green Room, amazing movie. Gremlins and Gremlins 2 double feature. Grindhouse double feature. The Guest. We got Halloween and Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. Halloween 3 being the best Halloween movie. And then we've got the Halloween 3-film collection here with H2O and Resurrection and The Curse of Michael Myers. Rob Zombie's Halloween double feature. Hannibal Lecter collection with Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal. Hatchet complete collection. These are all good except for the last Hatchet movie. Hateful Eight. Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You. These were pretty fun movies. I like those a lot. The Haunting Fear. I don't remember anything about this one, to be honest. Heat. Oh my god, one of my favorite movies of all time. Hereditary. Haven't rewatched this in a long time. I've seen it like 2 times probably, but it's just like, when do I want to be depressed for 3 hours? Same goes for Midsummer. Hellraiser. The Hidden. Just watched this one for the first time a few weeks ago. And just really awesome movie. Same thing with High Fidelity. I recently watched that one too. Loved it. The Hills Run Red. Only seen this one once, but I remember really liking it. Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. One of the best movies you'll see in this entire video. The Holy Mountain. I lost my mind for this movie. The Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. Everyone loves Devil's Rejects more. For some reason, I'm a House of a Thousand Corpses guy, so that's why it's filed under H. House of the Devil, House of Wax. Now, it comes with Mystery of the Wax Museum as a bonus feature, which is much better than House of Wax. Hostel and Hostel Part 2. Human Centipede. I have not seen these. This actually shouldn't be here. That's in there by mistake. Sorry, I look like a doofus just catching that in the video. I'm just like, wait, Human Centipede? I haven't seen Human Centipede. I promise I haven't seen Human Centipede. It was there by mistake. Jack Frost and Jacko. It's actually a great double feature if you want to have a jack-off. Jack Frost and Jacko. This one is Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown. I already have, as you guys saw earlier, a copy of Reservoir Dogs, and I also do have a copy of Pulp Fiction. I bought this for Jackie Brown. They are on separate discs. I've actually been meaning to just separate them into like 3 custom DVDs and then to just sell the extra copies of Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. I'm going to do that eventually because I just needed it for Jackie Brown. Invisible Man. I really love this movie. Great modern horror movie. Irreversible, amazing movie. The Iron Claw. I was sobbing by the end of this thing. Oh my god. The It 90s miniseries. Idle Hands. Identity. In Cold Blood. Just, oh my god, I was actually blown away by this movie. In the Mouth of Madness. Indiana Jones 4-movie collection. Infinity Pool. Inglourious Bastards. Intruder, which, fun movie, but, I mean, the false advertising with Bruce Campbell, and then he shows up at the end for 2 seconds. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I love that movie. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer is, like, the dumbest movie ever, and I've never seen the third one, to be honest. Jaws 4K, like, the best 4K. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 double feature. Jennifer's Body. Joker. Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2. La Bamba, Last Action Hero, like the greatest movie of all time, The Last Picture Show, plus Texasville. Did not like Texasville, really, but I love Last Picture Show. Late Night with the Devil, Leatherface, and then Leatherface, The Lodge. I hate that this thing was bare bones. I would have loved some special features on this thing. It's a great movie. Megan and Megan 2.0. I really love Megan 2.0. I don't know why it has haters. Like, everybody loves the first one. They hate the second one. I like both of them, but especially the second one. I love it. Mallrats. The Man Who Wasn't There. Great movie. Maniac remake from 2011. I dig this one. I actually wasn't that big on the original, but eventually maybe I'll rewatch the original. I don't know. Maniac Cop and Maniac Cop 2 and Maniac Cop 3. Fun little trilogy. Malignant. Make Way for Tomorrow. Mandy. McCabe and Mrs. Miller. Melancholia. Mean Girls. Memories of Murder. Great movie. And then here, let's see. Midsommar. This is the nice fancy 4K. I took it out of that huge yellow case and just printed out another cover for it and put it in here. And yeah, it's just like, this movie is just, it's just one of those things, like, when do I want to be depressed for 3 hours? Miller's Crossing. Miss 45. This one, I am going to upgrade this to the Arrow Video Blu-ray eventually. Misery. Mississippi Mermaid, another Cornell Woolrich adaptation. Miss March. M, absolutely amazing movie. The Monkey, pretty fun movie. And this is Mr. McMahon and Dark Side of the Ring bootleg. My Bloody Valentine and the remake. My Soul to Take, awesome movie. And we've got the Nightmare on Elm Street bare bones DVDs. I'm never upgrading these things. I always tell myself maybe I'll upgrade to the Blu-rays, and then I just never do. And then Freddy's Nightmares bootleg. I got it like just from the like shadiest bootleg seller at a comic book convention one time. And then we have the Naked Gun trilogy, Naked Lunch, Near Dark, awesome movie, The Neon Demon. Double feature of Nickelodeon and The Last Picture Show.
since I do have that other copy of The Last Picture Show, I am probably going to sell this. I really don't need Nickelodeon, but it does have a director's commentary, so maybe one day I'll listen to it, because I do like Peter Bogdanovich, so I might listen to the Nickelodeon commentary, but this is on the chopping block. Probably going to sell it. Nightcrawler and Night of the Creeps, Night of the Hunter, Night Killer, awesome movie. The Ninth Configuration with the error on the spine, so it says Coinfiguration. Like the greatest movie of all time, Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie. I've been watching Nirvana the Band, the show recently. No Country for Old Men, Not of This Earth, really fun movie. Offspring, I dug this movie. I've only seen it once. The Almond Collection, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Only God Forgives, Original Sin, another Cornell Woolrich adaptation. And then the others, and then here we are at starting the P's with Parasite. So I'm going to take a drink of water, and then we'll be up there at the top. Okay, guys, so here we are with all the Paranormal Activity movies, and then a bootleg of Paranormal Activity Tokyo Night, like a fan film thingy that was pretty cool. We got Pearl. I knew this franchise was cooked when everybody started cosplaying as Mia Goth. Oh my god. Peggy Sue Got Married. Love this movie. Pet Sematary 2. Even better than the first one. Robert Englund's Phantom of the Paradise. Phantom of the Opera. I love this one a lot, actually. Phantasm. Pinocchio's Revenge. Fun movie. Possession. These are from the Predator 4K set. I took them all out of that big chunky thing, and then I put them in their own Blu-ray cases with custom artwork that I printed out. But here are the Predator movies. We've got the Prom Night collection that I really only bought for Prom Night 2. And this is the Prom Night remake, reboot. Psycho 4-movie collection. Pulp Fiction 4K. Pumpkinhead. This I bought for Pumpkinhead 2, but it's got Leprechaun on it and Wishmaster 2. This is the Puppet Master franchise, all 3,000 of them, and then The Littlest Reich. One thing I want to note, guys, is I leave some space between these, and it just makes it easier to slide movies in, like after I've seen them, I can slide it in. So if you guys see spaces, that's why. I know some of them are a little bit tighter than others, but I do try to leave like some spaces there to put movies in. Here we got Queens of Scream. It has I Know What You Did Last Summer, When a Stranger Calls, and Vacancy. I really like Vacancy a lot. We got Rabid, the remake. I actually got this signed by CM Punk. Me and my brother did at a comic book convention. That away. There we go. Raising Arizona. Ravenous. Really good movie, but I have a little bit of a problem with the ending. Ready or Not. Really fun movie. Rear Window. Reanimator. Repossessed. Reservoir Dogs. The Return of the Living Dead. Return to Oz. Riding in Cars with Boys. Rings. The Ring. And The Ring 2 Unrated Edition DVD, River's Edge, RoboCop, like the greatest movie ever, Rock and Roll Nightmare. I've only seen that one once, but I liked it. The Room, of course. No collection's complete without The Room, and it has to be signed. The Rules of Attraction. Has my favorite scene in all of movies is in this movie. The Running Man, Santa Sangre, Saturday Night Fever, Saw 8 movie collection, and then Saw X and Spiral. Savage Lust, which is I believe it's Deadly Manor. Scarlet Street, Scary Movie 2, Scary Movie 3. I will say this: if you watch past Scary Movie 2, you've gone too far. Scrooged. We got Scream. This is a bootleg of the unrated cut that I think was only on like Laserdisc or something. And then we've got the Scream 4K, Scream 2 4K, Scream 5 film collection, which is 1 through 3, and then a couple documentaries, and then Scream 4. We've got Scent of a Woman and Sea of Love. I loved Sea of Love. I have not seen Scent of a Woman. The Searchers, like the only Western I really like. Shadow of the Vampire, pretty cool movie. Shock 'em Dead, I love this movie so much. Showgirls, amazing movie. Single White Female 1 and 2. Silence of the Lambs. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Silent Night, Deadly Night collection of 3, 4, and 5. Just like the dumbest movies I've ever seen. Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Silent Night, remake from, I don't know, when, what is it, like 2011 or something like that. The Silent Partner. Skinner. Slaughter High, awesome movie. Summer Party Massacre. Summer Party Massacre 2 and 3. The Sleepaway Camp movies. Society, fun movie. Sopranos. You know what, guys? One of the little holders in the back is right here. Fell. We'll leave off with Sopranos. I'll come back after this is in. Okay, guys, the shelf is now fixed. So, Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowl-orama. I can't tell you how many times I've butchered this title. Sorority House Massacre, awesome movie. Sorority House Massacre 2. I love this movie so much. And this is a bootleg of Sorority House Massacre 3, Hard to Die. Honestly, I think it actually might have just been Hard to Die, and then they were like, no, wait, it's Summer Party Massacre Part 3. I don't know. The only, like, comic book movie I have, Spider-Man No Way Home, they got me with the nostalgia factor for this one. I bought it for Tobey Maguire, which is funny because I don't even have the Tobey Maguire movies. I need to get them. Starry Eyes. Stephen King collection with The Stand, haven't seen it. Langoliers, haven't seen it. Golden Years, haven't seen it. The Dead Zone, I've seen it. Pet Cemetery, I've seen it. Silver Bullet, love it. And The Graveyard Shift, I did not like it. Strangers on a Train, one of the few good Hitchcock movies. I'm not a big Hitchcock guy. The Stuff, and The Substance. Let's see. Coming down here, we got Superbad, Sunset Boulevard, Suspiria. You know what? Another one. Spellbound shouldn't be here. I have not seen Spellbound, I promise. Spinal Tap. Spring Break Massacre. That was a bootleg a buddy sent me. Sliver. Tales from the Dark Side. I have not seen all of these. I did get these like probably early this year, and I started going through it. I have not seen all of it, but it's here on the shelf. Terminator 2. And yes, I did enjoy Terminator Genisys. I did keep this one. I sold my copies of the other Terminator movies. They got me with the nostalgia factor, okay? Teen Wolf, Terror Night, awesome movie. Texas Chainsaw 2, Texas Chainsaw, The Next Generation, Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 03. This one's a bootleg of the 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We got There's Nothing Out There. There's Something About Mary. They Live by Night. The Thing. Thieves Like Us. Thieves Like Us and They Live by Night were based on the same book. I did just finish listening to an audiobook of it. It's titled Thieves Like Us. And good book. I do prefer Thieves Like Us. Tootsie. Thief, like the greatest movie ever. Tourist Trap, fun movie. Total Recall, another awesome movie. Trauma, Dario Argento's best movie. I'm not even a big Dario Argento guy, but this one's just, it's incredible. I love it even more than everyone loves Suspiria. I'm a Trauma guy. I'm based, okay? Trick or Treat, True Lies, True Romance, like the best Tarantino movie, and The Twilight Zone. And then coming down here, we got Twin Peaks, Uncut Gems, Under the Silver Lake, Unfaithful, Urban Legend, Urban Legends, Final Cut, Urban Legends, Bloody Mary. I don't know why that one had a lot of haters. I've only seen it once, but I liked it. I had a triple feature of all those. Maybe I had just lost so many brain cells by the time I got there. I don't know. Valentine, Vampire's Kiss, Vanilla Sky, Video Violence 1 and 2, Videodrome, Waxwork and Waxwork 2, The Weatherman, A Wedding, Wedding Crashers, When a Stranger Calls, which I like. Basically, I just like the first 20 minutes of that movie, if I'm being honest. Whiplash, amazing movie. White Heat, another amazing movie. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Whatever Works. What's Up, Doc? Winter Beast. Witch Academy, signed by Michelle Bauer. The Wizard of Oz. Wolfman, which everybody hated for some reason, but I really liked it. The Wolf of Wall Street. Written on the Wind, awesome movie. Wrong Turn 1 through 5. I've only seen the first one, but it's here on the shelf. X. You're Next. Zack and Miri Make a Porno. And Zoolander. So that's like everything A to Z, and then we've got my favorite directors down here. Let me zoom out a bit so you guys could see. So my favorite directors, hands down, my absolute favorite director of all time is Brian De Palma. I just love him to death. I love his movies. They're just all amazing. I just love them all. And that's who we're starting with. The rest aren't in order because I like he's number one, and all the other directors are kind of equal to me, and or I go in phases. Like if you ask me one day, it's going to be Kubrick, or it's going to be Roman Polanski, or it's going to be David Lynch, or it's going to be William Friedkin. Their order changes. It just depends what phase I'm in with those guys. But we're starting here with Brian De Palma, okay? For these guys, they're not in alphabetical order. They're in order of release of when they came out. So we're starting with Sisters, which is a really awesome movie. I remember being blown away by this movie, and I think I watched it like 3 times in like a week because I was just like, how did he do any of that? It was just incredible. Phantom of the Paradise. Carrie, Dressed to Kill, Blowout, which is my favorite movie of all time, Scarface, Body Double, The Untouchables, Raising Cain, Carlito's Way, Snake Eyes, Femme Fatale. So that's my Brian De Palma collection. I love Brian to death. Next, we've got David Lynch. So we've got Eraserhead, The Elephant Man, Blue Velvet, which might be my favorite one because it's always been Mulholland Drive, but the older I get, the more I'm like, is it really Blue Velvet? Wild at Heart, I'm definitely going to be upgrading this to the Criterion. Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, Inland Empire, and I do not have The Straight Story, but I've seen it and I liked it, and I'm probably not going to get Dune ever. Next, we're going into the Roman Polanski movies, and I do have this Roman Polanski autograph because when I was tracking down the box set that has Bitter Moon and Death and the Maiden and The Ninth Gate, I realized Roman Polanski is very old, and he's in his like 90s now, and I'm just like, he could die any day. Why don't I get his autograph? And it was cheap. It was like $70. So I got this, and it says to Peter on it. So in my head, he signed this to Peter Bogdanovich. So that's my little joke about that. So yeah, so I have his autograph there. I do want to get the other ones, but they're all just like way more expensive, and oh my God, I don't know. But we're starting with The Knife in the Water, Repulsion, amazing movie. Cul-de-sac, I have not seen this yet. So there are a few movies, just a few on this shelf that I have not seen yet, just because I'm keeping all the movies from my favorite directors together. But Cul-de-sac, I did just pick this one up though. I haven't seen it yet. Rosemary's Baby, Macbeth, I haven't seen this one. I think those are probably the only 2 on... I think there's just 2 movies on this shelf that I have not seen. I think it's just those 2 because I just picked them up in the Criterion sale. Chinatown, literally like my favorite movie of all time. The Tenant, amazing movie, and a good book too. Tess, absolutely incredible movie. Frantic, this is a double feature with Presumed Innocent. I really love Frantic. Frantic, one of my absolute favorite movies. I would just kill. I would kill for this to get a proper release, because I think it's only had this release and then another DVD that's just bare bones. I would love for this thing to come out with some actual special features. I would love for the original ending, because it had a different ending, and then they changed it, I think, under studio pressure. And I would just love for them to release the original ending, either as a bonus feature or as a different cut. And I would just like more material about this movie. It's an amazing movie. It's one of my favorites of all time. Frantic. I love it. Bitter Moon. Amazing movie. Death and the Maiden. Just one of just my absolute. I know I'll have to say about my favorite directors on this shelf, but just I absolutely love this movie to death. The Ninth Gate. Incredible movie. The Pianist. This is a documentary Roman Polanski wanted and desired. It came with in the box set with Bitter Moon and Death and the Maiden and The Ninth Gate and The Ghost Rider. So that's that. And then coming down here, let me move those aside. So we've got the William Friedkin movies here. We've got The French Connection. We've got The Exorcist 4K and then The Exorcist Blu-ray Steelbook. Sorcerer, which is backwards for some reason. I had a Blu-ray of this, and then I sold it when I got this 4K Blu-ray combo, and I have not watched the Criterion yet, but I will soon, guys. Pretty much same thing with Cruising. Like, I sold my other copy. I got this nice fancy copy, and I haven't watched the new fancy copy yet. To Live and Die in LA, one of my favorite movies of all time. Blue Chips, amazing movie. Jade, love Jade. And then we got Killer Joe. Kubrick. I sold the Kubrick movies that you do not see here because I was making space for the big fancy box set. I am keeping these ones, and I might eventually sell them. I just kind of kept them because we were still waiting for all the special feature announcements from Criterion, and just in case there was anything on these that Criterion somehow didn't get, and I still needed these for some reason, like, I kept these. So I had all of them, but then, I sold them. So the ones that I do have remaining still are Eyes Wide Shut and Dr. Strangelove, Spartacus, Full Metal Jacket, The Shining 2001, and A Clockwork Orange. So I am going to get the big fancy Criterion box set, and anybody that's watching this that is getting that, I'm going to get some 6 disc holders, some Blu-ray cases, so I could just make some custom cases, because you do not want to just keep sliding them in and out, in and out, in and out of that just god-awful box that they designed, where you'll just have to slide them in and out, bro, instead of just clicking into place. So I'm going to get some Blu-ray cases that hold 6 discs, and then I'm going to do that for the Kubrick set. And then these are just a couple VHS of a guy. These are, nobody's gonna know these. They're from the 90s, and this guy that edited some stuff for me, he was telling me about these student films he made back in the 90s, and I tracked these down to see his student films from the 90s, and so that's what those are. The only VHS I have. I had to go somewhere, and a guy converted them and put them on a disc for me. So, oh boy, guys, I'm actually really exhausted. So we've gone through the favorite shelf, and then we've gone through all the movies that I have that I've seen. Next, we are going to start going through the books. And here, let me take a sip of water first. Okay, guys, so here we are with multiple author collections, anthologies. That's what we start with up here. And then it continues down here. I skipped this shelf because, okay, I threw out one of my bookshelves back when we were moving everything out of here because we put in new floors, and I had to move things out and make space, and we were having issues with some flooding coming in from there. The bookshelf that I used to have right there, it got some mold on the back. We tossed it out, but I kept the shelves. They only fit on this one. That's why I ended up having to get the custom ones. So when I put them on here, they made these little spaces, and that's where I put movies that I moved up in the rotation. Actually, maybe we'll actually get to those ones before I read you guys the anthologies and everything. But the space it made right here was too small for some of these, so I put them up there, moved them to here, and then we start with fiction by, it's all in alphabetical order by author, last name, and then by title. So starting with A there by last name, and then they go in alphabetical order. So, actually, I'll show you guys some of the movies I've moved up in the rotation, and maybe you'll hear me talk about these ones soon, but The 400 Blows, Another Day in Paradise, Basketball, Blue Valentine, The Canyons, That Championship Season, Chasing Amy, Con Air, The Crush, Dodgeball, Drive Me Crazy, End of Days, Freddy Got Fingered, Killing Me Softly, Killer Workout, La La Land, Little Black Book, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, I've never seen it, Love and Other Disasters, Malice, $1 Million Baby, My Cousin Vinny, The New Guy, Not Another Teen Movie, Only Angels Have Wings, Phoenix, Postman Always Rings Twice, with the Jack Nicholson one, A Prairie Home Companion, Prisoners, The Ramen Girl, Secretary, Sleepwalkers, The Stepford Wives, The Sure Thing, Swimming Pool, Uptown Girls, Taking Lives, They All Laughed, The Verdict, Vicky, Christina Barcelona, Walk Hard, Zodiac, and Walk the Line. So those are all in my like to watch kind of, I moved them up in the rotation kind of thing, okay? I'm not going to go through all these and read you guys every author name and what the short stories are, but 11 great horror stories, 13 short detective novels, 50 great ghost stories, and 50 great horror stories, 101 mystery stories, The Black Lizard Big Book of Pulps, and then Black Mask Stories. There's another lizard book. Bram Stoker Horror Stories, Chilling Horror Short Stories. I know these all basically have like the same names. Dark Masks. This one's got a Stephen King story in there. I think it's The Mist, actually. Ramsey Campbell, James Herbert, Robert R. McCammon. The Best of Suspense from Ellery Queen magazine. This is Fantasy Reader number 16 pulp that I have. This one's Frankenstein, Dracula, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde all in one with a Stephen King introduction. This is Haunted House Short Stories. Horror times 10. This one is Japanese Myths and Legends. And this one is Lost Souls Short Stories, which I think just means ghost stories. This shelf here is all Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Also Peep the Robert Stack autograph. But none of the Alfred Hitchcocks are in order because there's really no order to them. They're just all randomly short stories that were pretty much all published elsewhere by popular mystery suspense authors that were just collected into these, and there's no rhyme or reason to them. Some of them are different publishers. I think most of them are Dell, and I just kind of just threw them on this shelf. They're all back there. Like I've got like dozens of these, and yeah, those are the only ones on order. I do have a few random Blu-rays here, as you'll see. E.T. and The Land Before Time, and these Christmas specials, because we are actually getting outside of this room. We're getting a new TV stand, and we're gonna put a TV there, and we put a futon over there. And my little cousin likes these here, and so the new TV stand is gonna have some slots where you could put some books or movies or whatever. So I'm gonna put these there for her, just so they're easier for us just to find, so we don't have to look through all my shelves. So that's why those are there. These here on top here are some magazines that my friend Mark, I showed you guys his book over there, They'll Get You. He's published some short stories, and they're in these magazines here. And then down here we've got just a giant Beatles book because it is huge. The Get Back book from a few years ago, and it's just huge and just will not fit anywhere on the other shelves if I stand it up. But we will continue here with Masters of Darkness Volume 3, Scary Stories, Treasury, all the scary stories that tell in the dark books. Silver Scream, which is just a bunch of short stories that are about movies, I guess. And then what even is this one called? Stalkers. This is novellas by Dean Koontz and John Coyne and F. Paul Wilson, and just a bunch of just all the popular like 70s and 80s horror authors are in there. Strange Tales from Japan, Weird Tales. These are just three kind of pulp books that I've gone to this like pulp paperback convention 3 times. I didn't go this year, but they have one of these little like program thingies, and it's got some short stories and different things in there that from the Windy City Pulp and Paper Convention. I got those. This is Women of Weird Tales. These two are the Valancourt books of World Horror Stories, and then these are 5 volumes. I don't know if they've done any more of these from Valancourt books of Christmas horror stories, and I think each volume has a different theme. I haven't read any of those, to be honest. I'm not going to completely point out like which books I've read and which ones I haven't. It's just if I have something to say, I'll say it. But some of the books I've read, some I haven't. Everything's all mixed in. Little Girl Lost. I actually really did like this one. This is from Richard Alias, who I believe is the publisher of Hard Case Crime, and that's why he used the last name Alias. He's like, it's my alias. This is the sequel, Songs of Innocence. We've got the Amityville Horror. The Devil Drives. We've got this is from Charles Ardai, who is also Richard Alias, but a different. I think this is his real name. This is Death Comes Too Late, which is a short story collection. This is The Wasp Factory, which everyone tells me I should read, but I just have not read it yet. We've got The Books of Blood, all 3 volumes. The Great and Secret Show, and In the Flesh by Clive Barker. And then we've got the first 4 Oz books. I've read the first 2 because after I saw The Wizard of Oz and Return to Oz, I was like, oh my god, I'm in my Oz phase, I'll read these. But then I just kind of didn't think about like, no, they're kids books. Why would I read kids books? But I read the first 2, and they each take like a day or 2 to read, and they were fine. But I did order the first 4. I don't think I'm going to keep reading them just because I'm like, I don't want to read kids' books. But I might give these to my nieces or to my little cousin to read eventually. Gremlins 2 novelization, Dressed to Kill novelization, American Gothic by Robert Bloch, Cold Chills by Robert Bloch, More Nightmares by Robert Bloch, Psycho by Robert Bloch, and Psycho 2 and Psycho 3. This copy of Psycho, I do have to fix it because the cover is detached. We've also got, this is 2 novels in one, Spiderweb, and then what even is the other one? Shooting Star by Robert Bloch. That's a 2-for-1. Tales in a Jugular Vein by Robert Bloch. I've got a lot of Robert Bloch books by somebody that didn't really like Robert Bloch. I read the 3 Psycho novels. I didn't really enjoy them. You might be wondering why I still have them. Well, I like the Psycho movie, so I kept it because it's got the Psycho cover. And then 2 and 3 just took me forever to track down, so I kind of kept them. I did do some book versus movie reviews of them on my old channel, but I don't like how those videos turned out. So what I think I might do is rewatch those and then poke through the. I'm not going to read these again. I don't have that much brain damage, but I might poke through these again and then see if I could do a better video this time, breaking down the comparison between the Psycho books and the movies. Which Psycho 2 and Psycho House really have nothing to do with the movies at all, but I just that's a video that I do want to do, I just don't know when. And then we've got Lawrence Block, A Diet of Treacle, After the First Death, Grifter's Game, Killing Castro, Lucky at Cards, The Girl with the Deep Blue Eyes, and the amazing Hard Case Crime cover art, The Girl with the Long Green Heart. And then we've got Vertigo, which became the Hitchcock movie, by these French authors, these 2 authors. I don't know how to say their name. I don't want to butcher it. Stage Fright by Garrett Boatman. Let's see. This is The Bishop of Hell by Marjorie Bowen. Never read it. Dandelion Wine by Ray Bradbury. Fahrenheit 451, and then a cooler cover for Fahrenheit 451, The Halloween Tree, The Illustrated Man, The Martian Chronicles, a cool older version and then a newer printing, The October Country, older printing and then a newer printing. I think newer printing might have a couple more stories than the older one does. I think they might have, I could be wrong on that, but I think they might have added a couple there. Something Wicked This Way Comes. Really love that book. Max Brooks. This is a funny story of why I even have the book World War Z. So when I was younger and I got into comic books, right, I wanted to read The Walking Dead because my cousin had showed me the show. And I wanted to get the nice collected paperback off of Amazon, and I asked my mom because I didn't have an Amazon account or any money or anything. I was like, how old was I? Like 15. I was just like, Mom, can you order me this? She was like, yeah, sure. But she forgot what I asked for, and then my little sister Gigi was like, "Oh, I think he wanted World War Z," and yeah, I think the movie had just come out around that time. I was like 15 or 16, and my mom ordered me World War Z, and I was like, "Mom, this isn't it." She's like, "What? Gigi told me that's what you wanted." I was like, "No, it wasn't this. No, not this." She's like, "Oh, sorry," and yeah, so I just like have had this all this time, and I've never read this. The Voice of the Clown. I spent, how much I spent on this? 40, 50, 60 bucks, something in that area. And it was kind of awful. This is a St. Peter's Wolf. Double Indemnity. The movie's way better. The Doll Who Ate His Mother. I've got 2 copies of that because I think it came in a lot. Raymond Chandler for Well My Lovely. 2 copies, older copy and newer copy. And then Raymond Chandler, Finger Man. I think that might be a short story collection. The Big Sleep. Wasn't too big on it. Like, it's well written, but the story is just so dumb that it was kind of, I don't know, it's just way too convoluted. The High Window, an older copy, and the newer copy. And then, let's see, The Simple Art of Murder by Raymond Chandler. This is an Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. I don't even remember why I read this. Maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody told me to get it. I really don't remember. We've got The Lost Worlds of 2001. I think this is about the process of writing the screenplay / book and everything with Arthur C. Clarke and Stanley Kubrick. This is The Witching Night by C.S. Cody. I think this is supposed to be like really amazing Kino, and that's why I bought it, but I know nothing about it. Let's see, Max Allan Collins. We got The First Quarry. This is a series that he writes, but I don't really know anything about it. And then The Last Quarry. And then that's all for this shelf. So let me drink some water, and we'll come back with the next one. Okay, so then this one's just called Quarry. Quarry's Cut. Quarry's Deal. These were all cheap at Half Price Books, like in 2022 when I was going through my I'll just buy anything with a Hardcase Crime logo on it phase. So Quarry's List, and then Seduction of the Innocent, which is like a crime thing, but also involving comic books, I guess. There's a little blurb on the back if anybody wants to read it. And then let's see, final Max Allan Collins book is this book called Spree, which is signed, and surprisingly it was only $5 at Half Price Books. I don't think his signature is worth that much, but you know how Half Price Books is. They will really charge you for any and everything they can. Oh, one more actually, and this one's 2 for the money. So cool. Next, we've got Michael Crichton, my fellow Chicagoan. I forgot to point that out about Raymond Chandler too, didn't I? This book, Sphere, I did not like it. I only kept it because I'm actually going to give that to my nephew. I have not read any of these other books, but the Andromeda Strain, A Case of Need, I think this is like one of his like, I don't know, like medical thrillers. He's some sort of like doctor or something. Congo, The Great Train Robbery, and Jurassic Park. And then, let's see, this is called The Bedeviled. So I did kind of like leave my like horror phase. I'm not too much into like reading horror anymore, but I did keep some just in case the mood ever strikes me, and you know, it might be something that I read in like October or something. We'll see. But we got House of Leaves, which I just keep hearing all the time. Oh, it's incredible. It's like I know I've made this joke before, but like on Curb, when I think it's like this, like the second episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Ted Danson keeps calling everything heaven, and Larry points it out like, haven't you noticed everything's heaven with this guy? It's always heaven with this guy. Like, oh, you should try this gum. It's heaven. It's heaven. Like, that's what I hear about House of Leaves. Like, oh, you should read House of Leaves. It's heaven. It's heaven. But I don't know. Same author though, Tom's Crossing, a big chunky book. Let's see. David Dodge, never even heard of him. The Last Match. This is Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment. One day I'll read it. The Nest. I did not like The Nest as much as the movie. This is Daphne du Maurier, Echoes from the Macabre. I guess that's just a pretentious way of saying horror stories. Then also her book Rebecca. The Rules of Attraction by Bret Easton Ellis. Black Ambrosia by Elizabeth Engstrom. And then Lizzie Borden by Elizabeth Engstrom. Nightmare Flower by Elizabeth Engstrom. I remember this one being a pretty fun short story collection. When Darkness Loves Us by Elizabeth Engstrom. This is 2 novellas in this book, and they're really fun. Let's see, Swedish Cults. I guess that's a short story collection. We've got some John Ferris books here. The Captors with a really awesome cover. Shatter. When Michael Calls. And then Wildwood. Some just great covers. Money Shot. The Pack. I'm not always going to say the author names, by the way. It's just a little too much talking and my throat's getting sore. No House Limit. The Knife Slipped. Gremlins novelization. Lord of the Flies, really awesome book. Magic, really fun book. This is David Goodis, Dark Passage, Nightfall, The Burglar, The Moon in the Gutter, and Street of No Return. And this is another David Goodis book that also has Nightfall, and then it has a book called Cassidy's Girl and Night Squad, which are not in this one. I really thought I was going to have a David Goodis phase because I was trying to figure out who are some more authors, like my favorite authors, like Cornell Woolrich and Jim Thompson. Who's anywhere along those lines? Everything was telling me David Goodis. So I didn't even realize I had this David Goodis book, The Wounded and the Slain. Never read it, but I ended up buying these two, and I was like, I guess I'll go all in, like an idiot, because I just buy things. And I ended up reading Nightfall because it was the first one in here. And Nightfall, it is well written, but the story was just so stupid, and I don't know. I'm like, well, should I read the rest of these? Should I just sell them? I don't know. Maybe I'll give David Goodis another shot. A Glow of Candles. I read maybe half of this. I didn't finish it. It's a short story collection. I was reading some of it in October last year, and it was pretty cool. A Quiet Night of Fear. Poor Things, which is an amazing book, but a terrible movie. The Night of the Hunter. Never read the book. This is 12 short stories by the author of The Night of the Hunter. Keeper of the Children, just a dumb horror novel. Blood Money by Dashiell Hammett. And The Maltese Falcon. Let's see what we got here. A Man Called Spade. So, Spade's only novel is in The Maltese Falcon, but these are, I guess, a few short stories that Dashiell Hammett wrote that also feature Sam Spade. Red Harvest. Red Dragon. Now, Red Dragon, I read part of this after I saw the movie, and then I realized I should just not go and read a novel like right after I see the movie. I should read the book first, or so much time has to pass that I forget, because I was reading this and it was good, but I got so bored because I was like, I already know what happens. Now it's been years since I've seen Manhunter, so maybe I could go back into this soon. We'll see. Silence of the Lambs. I never read the sequels. I have all 4 Hannibal books here. I never read the sequels because I didn't finish Red Dragon, but I do have all of them here. This is The Traveling Grave. The Happy Man. Omen 2 novelization. 2 copies of it. Spawn by Sean Hudson. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. The Bird's Nest by Shirley Jackson. Well written and a great idea, but the story falls short for me. I think it could have been more interesting. It was just a little dull for Shirley Jackson. Come Along With Me, which is classic short stories and an unfinished novel. I haven't read this one. Hangs a Man, which was cool. I thought this was going to be a horror novel. It wasn't, but I really liked it. The Haunting of Hill House. I sold my modern printing and got this nice, cool older printing from Half Price Books. Shirley Jackson, Let Me Tell You, which is new stories, essays, and other writings. I think with this book, I think they found like some short stories of her in like a closet or something, and they weren't published in her lifetime. So I don't know if she was like, no, these suck, never publish them. And then years, decades later, her estate's like, let's publish them, let's squeeze everything out of her that we can. I don't know, but I have it. We've Always Lived in the Castle. Really awesome book. The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, and other short novels. Let's Go Play at the Adams. Amityville, The Evil Escapes. Amityville, The Final Chapter. Amityville 2. Etched in Murder, 20 Crimes That Rocked the Nation. It's a... Actually, you know what? That's nonfiction. See, I'm catching all sorts of things, guys. That should be on the nonfiction shelf. I will fix that. Poltergeist novelization. Not even a fan of the movie Poltergeist, but, you know, I have the novelization. Kafka, The Metamorphosis and Other Stories. Red Hot Ice. The Deadly Doll. You. I do like the TV show You. I have not seen the last, like, I don't know. How many seasons are there? I think if there's 4 seasons, I think I've seen the first 3. I think I might have seen the first 3 and I haven't seen the 4th season, or it might be I've seen 4 seasons, I haven't seen the 5th, something like that. I just kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you. 5 Decembers, an actual good modern day book, but it's a period piece. I really do not like books set in modern day, but I really like that one, it being a period piece and all. Offspring. Now, I've seen the movie a long time ago. I did like the movie. I bought the book, and eventually I'll read this book. The Ceremonies by Ted Klein. I did try to read this. It's very highly regarded amongst horror fans, but it was just a little too much, like, just emptiness and filler for me in the first 20 pages, so maybe at another time. But I did keep it because it took me forever to track it down for $15 instead of like 30, okay? False Negative, Blood Sugar. Let's see. Funland by Richard Lehman. Rum Punch. The Boys from Brazil. I haven't read this one. I think this one and just one more Ira Levin book I haven't read, and then I've read them all. But The Boys from Brazil. The Kiss Before Dying, which is a really good book. Rosemary's Baby. I sold my modern copy and got this older one. Sliver, which is not his best book. He was senile at this time, but the movie is awesome. The Stepford Wives. I sold my modern copy and got this one. This Perfect Day. I have not read this one by Ira Levin. Let me move a couple things here. The Beast Within. I don't know anything about this. It's just a book I have. The first book in the Dexter series, Darkly Dreaming Dexter. I have not read this. How Green Was My Valley. And then the Halloween Ends novelization. This is all H.P. Lovecraft right here. I'm not going to go through them all, but H.P. Lovecraft, if he wrote it, I have it. They're all his short stories, as well as this little commonplace book that's just some notes that he wrote down about writing stories. I mean, yeah, that's the complete Lovecraft right there. So, let's see. John D. MacDonald, Death Trap. Let's see. Patricia MacDonald, Stranger in the House. Goblin. Ghost Written by Ronald Malfi. Little Girls by Ronald Malfi. Heat 2. Haven't read it. Maybe eventually I will. Burnt Offerings. Nightblood. Cop Hater by Ed McBain. I really enjoy Ed McBain. An older copy and a newer printing of that. Cut Me In by Ed McBain. The Gutter in the Grave by Ed McBain. I really enjoyed this one. So Nude, So Dead by Ed McBain. Usher's Passing by Robert R. McCammon. No Country for Old Men. Have not read this one because I bought it after seeing the movie and I'm like, I should let some time pass. And then we got, I think this was like the last thing Cormac McCarthy published before he died. And this is Stella Maris and the Passenger. They're kind of like companion pieces, I guess. We got the Blackwater Saga by Michael McDowell. The Elementals, The Last Picture Show, The Omen, The Final Conflict, Night of the Juggler, Lonesome Dove, The Creeping Shadow, and Slob, which is supposedly a really fun, silly horror novel. Let's see, the bottom shelf here. Branded Woman, Silver Nitrate. That was a gift. I wouldn't be caught dead buying a modern book, guys. Audition, which is a fun book and a really awesome movie. Different Darkness, which is I think is like some Italian short horror stories. Orphans, just some dumb horror stuff if I'm ever in the mood again, but I don't know if I will be. Teacher's Pet. The Ritual, The Whisper Man by Alex North. This was pretty popular a few years ago, and I don't know, I just heard it was really good. Let's see. Double Trouble by Joyce Carol Oates. I think this is like a couple like out of print novels of hers and maybe like a short story in here or something. I think it says on the back there. I don't know. That just came out and it sounded pretty interesting. 1984. Animal Farm. The Spirit, which I remember being okay. Night Film, which is supposed to be like really kino and like crazy and like highly regarded. I really don't know. Let's see. Dutch Uncle. Why do I have 4 copies of this? I don't know, but it's Edgar Allan Poe short stories is 18 best. Let's see. The Out is Death by Peter Rabe. Let's see. Dennis Bracknell. I don't really know what that is. I think I just bought it because I was in my phase of buying everything that Hard Case Crime put out. Fade to Black novelization. Let's see. The Murdered Vine. The Murderer Vine. And then The Case Against Satan. That's this shelf. So I will drink some water and then we'll get to the final shelf. Oh wait, no. We have that one down there with the comic books and stuff and the movies I haven't watched yet. So we've still got a lot more to go. Okay, guys, so on the top of this shelf, now, this is like my Beatles collection. You may be wondering why. Why? There's a Beatles anthology here, but all the other Beatles stuff is here. And it's a very simple answer. When I put everything in boxes to fill up everything in this room, all the Beatles stuff already had its own shelf and all that stuff was in a box. While everything was all put away, I ended up buying that Beatles anthology, so it wasn't in my just box that had all the Beatles stuff in it. So then when I was putting everything away on the shelves, that was just like, I was like, oh, okay, Beatles anthology, I put it there. And then it was like the very last box that I had all my Beatles stuff in it. And by then I was just like, where do I put anything? And then I just like kind of threw it on the top of the shelf. And so it's there. Also because I do want to do and I'm wearing my Yellow Submarine shirt, okay? I do want to do just a Beatles collection video. I don't have a ton of stuff. I mean, you guys pretty much see most of it here. It's just like this stuff you could see plus just a couple vinyl records. And I don't know, I just wanted to do like a Beatles video though. And so that's why I didn't put these away yet. I'm like, I'll just leave these up here and then I'll do a Beatles video and then we'll find space for them. So I got this at a convention by a very sketchy seller, a Let It Be bootleg, and then Help. My brother gave me that as a Christmas gift. Yellow Submarine. I got this from this really awful store that I think closed down. It was in the burbs. It was in Berwyn, and it was just like a real awful, overpriced store. But I think I only got that for like $5 or something. And then A Hard Day's Night, Criterion, and then A Hard Day's Night novelization, Yellow Submarine novelization, Help novelization, and then these couple John Lennon books up here, and then this pen I've had since like 2013. It's out of ink. But yeah. Anyways, so we've got The Catcher in the Rye. We've got this book, Symphony. The Kill Riff. The Omen. I've got 4 copies of The Omen. We've got these 4 different books by Rod Serling here, these short stories. I didn't know he actually wrote actual short stories like outside of like the Twilight Zone and Night Gallery, but that's what we have there. Robert Silverberg, a couple books. Blood on the Mink, I remember liking that one a lot, and this one's called The Hot Beat, which I did not read that one. Also, I don't normally put like things like on the shelves like in front of the books and all, but I just didn't know where to like put these, my Seinfeld page clips, and I gotta find the box for my Chucky NECA, and I just had some random pens. But normally I don't do this. I don't put like little knickknacks, but I had to just set them down, okay? Abominable by Dan Simmons, big chunky book. Summer of Night by Dan Simmons, another chunky book. The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. A bunch of Mickey Spillane stuff. The Big Kill. the bypass control. So, you know what? A subscriber sent these paperbacks right here to me. From somebody on my old channel. I really don't know who sent them. So thanks again, whoever sent them. They sent me the all the older Mickey Spillane stuff you see here. They sent me the hard case crime ones I bought, and then these two collections I bought. But the Consummata here, Dead Street, Killer Mind, that one came with whoever the subscriber was that sent that. Like, thank you. These are the Mike Hammer books, the first two collections. Volume 1 has I the Jury, My Gun is Quick, and Vengeance is Mine. I the Jury is the best one. My Gun is Quick and Vengeance is Mine are both fine, but they just really way down, not as fun. That's why I did not read Volume 2, but eventually I will. But this is Me, Hood, and Survival Zero, and The Twisted Thing. I don't know if any of those are also in the Mike Hammer series, but they were just, like a subscriber sent them to me. So thanks whoever did that. And then the Richard Stark books, Donald D. Westlake's pen name, but The Hunter, The Man with the Getaway Face, and The Outfit. I've read those first three. I did not read The Jugger. More Richard Stark, Lemons Never Lie. Let's see, this one's Fake ID by Jason Starr, Whitley Strieber, Cat Magic. I really don't know how you say this guy's name, but Ring and Spiral, the Ring movies. Let's see, Straight Cut, Journey to the Center of the Earth, The Black Maybe, which I believe are short stories. Slaughterhouse-Five, Night Things, and The Godsend. The Godsend was a pretty fun book. Let's see, let me move these papers all the way here. Let's see, The Moorstone, Sickness, The Reaping, which was pretty fun. I read that one in like 2 days. I do have The Hobbit, never read it. Let's see, and this is a Killer Whale book. The Tenant. Let's see, The Dead Hours of Night by Lisa Tuttle. Familiar Spirit. I remember this one just being really stupid. A Nest of Nightmares by Lisa Tuttle. There's more short stories. In a Lonely Place. This is like a well-regarded like short horror story collection, but I never read it. The Time Machine and the Invisible Man. And then Donald Westlake. I really like his books. I haven't read a ton of them, but I've read a few. 361 is really cool. And then I've also got Call Me a Cab, The Cutie, double feature, which I did enjoy. Forever and a Death, which I heard is really bad, but I mean I have it. Memory. Somebody Owes Me Money. This one is signed by Donald D. Westlake. This one's called Trust Me on This. This one was pretty cheap. I don't think I paid more than $20 for this on eBay. He signed it for Dick Wilson. And then because the book is called Trust Me on This, he wrote You Can before the Trust Me on This. And then he signed it, Donald E. Westlake. So, yeah. We got this book, Invitation to Violence and a Party to Murder by Lionel White, who wrote Clean Break, which became The Killing movie. The Blowout novelization. The Longest Night by Jane Williamson. Apparently this is supposed to be really stupid. The 20-Year Death, a nice chunky book. The Killing by Barry Wood. And The Tribe by Barry Wood. And let's see, Progeny of the Adder, which is a very pretentious name. Dead and Buried novelization, Gwen and Green. That finishes us with fiction. Now we are on to nonfiction. After another sip of water, my throat's going very dry, guys. Okay, I'm back. So, first book in nonfiction is this book on John Wayne Gacy, written by his attorneys. Aristotle, Scene and Structure. I haven't read this one, but somebody gave me feedback on something and they were like, I think you should read this. And they sent me a link to it and I bought it. I was like, oh, okay. Who the Devil Made It? Big chunky book. I really enjoy this. This is Peter Bogdanovich interviewing a bunch of directors. Zen and the Art of Writing by Ray Bradbury. Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. You should all read this. Frank Capra, The Name Above the Title. I haven't read that, but it's a big chunky book. Cher's Memoirs. I have volume 1 here. I've been waiting for volume 2 so I can read them back to back. But I think it keeps getting pushed back. We got Coop by Michael Cooper. Conversations with Wilder. This is Cameron Crowe and Billy Wilder having some conversations. But I'll be honest, Cameron Crowe does not ask him anything that interesting, and it was kind of boring. We got the Beatles lyrics here. House of the Devil. Anatomy of a Motive. by Johnny Douglas. Haven't read that one, but Mindhunter, I've read it and I really love it. Screenwriters on Screenwriting, I remember it was all right. The Psychopath Inside, Scene by Abel Ferreira. Haven't read this one yet, but maybe soon. We got The Screenwriter's Problem Solver and Screenplay and Selling a Screenplay by Sid Field. Selling a Screenplay is very out of date, but all three books have some good advice on screenwriting, so I was like, I'll keep it. The Man Who Invented Motion Pictures, Future Boy, Sigmund Freud on Creativity and the Unconscious. The two best books really on writing here are Adventures in the Screen Trade and Which Lie Did I Tell? We've got, I think, maybe all but one Robert Greene book. The 33 Strategies of War, The 48 Laws of Power, that's the only one I've read. The Art of Seduction, The Laws of Human Nature, and Mastery. I do actually want to read Mastery soon. Empire of the Summer Moon, I want to read that one soon. Tales from the Script, which is just some screenwriters, screenwriter interviews. No Rules, which is a book about Netflix. I really dug that one. Paperbacks from Hell. Asking It Is Given. Let me sit down here. Sweet, I can't wait to be done with this. I am actually so sore from talking. Hitchcock and Truffaut interview book. Think and Grow Rich. The Hard Thing About Hard Things. Misunderstood by Allen Iverson. Oh my God, one of the best books I ever read. Phil Jackson, 11 Rings. Also Phil Jackson, Sacred Hoops. We've got The Annotated Godfather. We've got The Art of Horror, The Art of Horror Movies, and The Art of Pulp Horror. Carl Jung, Man and His Symbols. We've got The Kafka Diaries, Thinking Fast and Slow, Kierkegaard, Spiritual Writings, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, Beyond Basketball by Coach K, Endurance, Behold the Monster, a great book on filmmaking, Film and Suspense by Alton Locher. H.P. Lovecraft Letters with him and Donald Wandry. I never read this. One of the best books on making movies by Sidney Lumet. Catching the Big Fish and Room to Dream by David Lynch. Black Dahlia by William J. Mann. I do want to read this soon. 5 C's of Cinematography. We've got Paul McCartney, the lyrics, A through Z. I'm Glad My Mom Died. Fatal Vision. Suddenly Something Clicked. I really loved this book. It's about film editing. I didn't think it would be that great, but it was incredible. The Art of B Movies. Al Pacino, Sonny Boy. Really enjoyed that one. The Hollywood Book of the Dead. Wise Guy by Nicholas Pileggi. Roman by Polanski. The Godfather Papers by Mario Puzo. That Will Never Work by Mark Randolph. Whoever Fights Monsters by Robert Ressler. Let's see, Anne Rule, The Lust Killer, and the Want Ad Killer. We've got Deviant. Arnold Schwarzenegger's huge chunky Total Recall memoir. The Disaster Artist. Have not read this one yet, but maybe soon. Talk of Champions by Kenny Smith. Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. A Light in the Darkness. The Writer's Journey. History is Wrong. Raoul Walsh's Each Man in His Time memoir. West by West, Jerry West memoir. And then Major Works of Ludwig Wittgenstein. And then also Autobiography of a Yogi. I had to put it up there because I ran out of room. I am basically screwed if I get any more nonfiction books because I have no space. Okay, so maybe I should talk to you guys about comic books for a little bit before we look at the comic books I still have. I don't even know where to begin. When I was a little kid, I know I read a couple of them and I thought this is really cool. And my teacher had a How to Draw Comics book. It might have been How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. I really can't remember, but I remember taking it home all the time and just trying to figure it out. And I was always confused. How did they get from the stick figures to get to this? And I just kind of like quit on being an artist when I was a kid. I really did want to be. I wanted to know how to draw when I was a kid, but I gave up on it. And I don't know. Then when I was a teenager, I just started reading comics and I just really liked them. I had stopped reading for years from like the end of elementary school and then through junior high. And then when I was in high school again, I started reading comic books. And it wasn't until I was in college I started reading novels. And eventually as I became an adult, I just got tired of comic books. The writing in it is lazy, and I just the writing in movies and in books is so much better, and I just get more enjoyment out of reading books or watching movies than I do with comic books. So I'm really over comic books. I had a huge collection. You guys could probably see the long boxes down there. I in that closet over there. I only kept 2 long boxes of comics, and I used to have probably like 12 or 13 long boxes just with like individual issues of comic books. I kept basically all the horror comics. Anything that was like a superhero comic or anything else, I kind of sold off. I mean, I did sell off a lot of horror comics too. Just anything that I couldn't see myself revisiting one day just kind of got sold. So I got really just like sick and tired of comics, just the poor writing, and it's just way too expensive. Like you buy an issue that's like $5 each month, and it really adds up. And it's like, why not just wait for the paperback, But even the paperbacks are like, yeah, bro, 19.99. I mean, like, I could buy a novel for like $8 and get like hours and hours worth of enjoyment out of it for that same price. You buy an expensive graphic novel, you get like what, like an hour at best? Like if there's a lot of words, if not, you get like what, 20 minutes out of it? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I just got sick and tired of it. So, here we are with, I'm not going to spend too much time on the comic books, but there's a couple things that aren't in order, just for kind of logistics. So one of my buddies sent me some of his art books, and they're thin. There's no text on the spine. So Ellis Goodson, thank you for the art books. I put them at the start just because no text on the spine. It's like, oh, what's this random thing in the middle with no text on it. If I put it in order. So there's that, and then there's Gear by Doug TenNapel, and I just figured I'd put the nice fancy Bigfoot Bill and Earthworm Jim by Doug TenNapel. These nice hardcovers just here first. There's just, I don't know, I just really liked them. So that's like the only thing that's like out of alphabetical order here, but I'm not even going to be revisiting the comic book shelf that much. So we do have some Archie comics, some Batman and Marvel and DC stuff. Some Green Arrow. These were from a subscriber on the old channel. Sent me some comic books. This is my one graded comic book of Rachel Rising by Terry Moore. It's signed, and it has a nice little sketch there. It's graded 9.6. I got this on eBay for like $130, I think, back in the day. And I really did enjoy Rachel Rising. I still have the paperbacks right here. And I met Terry Moore a couple times, and at some conventions. He's a really nice guy. This right here is Parasite, like my favorite manga. This is Hack Slash. I haven't visited these in a long time, but the first 2 I really loved. 3, 4, and 5 I just kind of found a little boring and stupid, but I'll get back to those eventually. Or if like I'll check them out eventually again and see if it's changed at all over the years. This is The Question, Omnibus. Never read this. Pretty much everything else I have, though, I've read. Just some more Marvel stuff. Alan Moore Swamp Thing I thought was pretty cool. Tales from the Crypt. Some more horror comics. The Walking Dead, first couple volumes. I had all the individual issues like after these 2, but I ended up selling those. Welcome to Ship's Grave. This was a self-published thing I backed on a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo or something. It was really good. Yellow, Blue, and Gray, a really good Marvel thingy. And then we've got some photography books. We've got the Stanley Kubrick Archives, Stanley Kubrick Photographs, and then this nice chunky big 2001 like making of book, and then just some other. I won't spend too much time on the photography books, honestly, because I haven't even like really looked at all of them. But we got like the Dennis Hopper photographs here, and then Vogue, and then fashion photography, and some different things. And I'll show you guys some of the records too. We've got P.S. Snow by Love Letter Typewriter. That's my friend's band. We've got Elvis 24 Karat Hits, Band on the Run. We've got Lana Del Rey's best album, Born to Die. We've got Evermore and Folklore. Let's see. We've got Buddy Holly here. The Beatles, my Japanese vinyl. Hard Day's Night. And With the Beatles, and Please Please Me, and Help, and Rubber Soul, and Magical Mystery Tour, and Meet the Beatles, and we've got Darkness on the Edge of Town, Born in the USA, Duck Kim, which is also my friend's the love letter typewriter, same dude. We've got Wildflowers here, John Lennon Rock and Roll, The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, Ram, the Beach Boys Christmas album, and Thief. So that's it for vinyl records, y'all. Now we are gonna get to everything I have not seen yet, which I guess we could technically start up here. All these boxes are empty except I just had this up here. So this, I bought this because I needed the Ramen Girl and Love and Other Disasters. The Ramen Girl by itself, for some reason, costs a lot of money, but you get this 4-pack. It's cheap. So these were all separate discs. So I have Ramen Girl and Love and Other Disasters that you guys saw over there in the stuff I moved up. The other two are in here, stacked on top of each other, and I might try and just make some custom cases and sell those. So we've also got these here. Saturday Night Laughs. I got this because it was like $5. Now, I got this for Wayne's World, which I've seen and I like, and Coneheads I haven't seen since I was a kid. I don't really remember it. It has these other movies in here, and they're all separate discs, so that's pretty cool. So eventually I'll make separate cases for those. We've also got, I actually have seen these, but not since childhood, Liar Liar, Bruce Almighty, Happy Gilmore, and Billy Madison. Now, on this one, I have seen A Perfect Murder, but it's a triple feature, and I figured if I haven't seen 2 out of the 3, I'm not going to put it on the I've seen it shelves. I'll leave it over here. So, A Perfect Murder, Murder by Numbers, and Murder in the First. I haven't seen those 2, but I've seen A Perfect Murder. I dig it. We've got Disclosure and Fatal Attraction, Across the Hall, AI, Artificial Intelligence, Ali, Alien Dead, which is signed on the back by Fred Olen Ray. My friend sent me his bootleg of Alien Terminator. We've got Alley Cat, Angel Heart, Annie Hall, Any Given Sunday, ATM, Bad Lieutenant 2, Beyond Reanimator, The Big Easy, Bikini Drive-In, for the plot, you guys, and it is signed on the back by Michelle Bauer. And then Blade Runner 2049, Breeders, Brothers, Burn Offerings, Bunny Lake is Missing, Castle Freak 2020, bootleg, Champagne and Bullets bootleg, was a City of Angels, Clerks 2, Clint Eastwood Collection, Volume 1. It's got The Mule, American Sniper, Gran Torino, and Sully. I've only seen American Sniper. Cold Heart, Copycat, Crash, not the Cronenberg one, Cruel Jaws, Cursed Films, Darlin, Death Spa, Death Stalker 1 and 2, The Deer Hunter, Demented, Demons 3, The Dentist Collection, Der Fan, Diabolique, American Remake, Incognito, and The In Crowd, The Editor, Euro Trip, The Evil Bong Movies, Evil Town and Evils of the Night, The Weatherman, The Fifth Element, The Fighter, Flashdance Funny Games, The Gambler, The Ghost in the Darkness, Godzilla, The Hangover, When Harry Met Sally, Hellraiser 2 and 3, Hollywoodland, The Hunt, Hustle and Flow, The Ice Harvest, and Immaculate. Woof, oh boy, guys, I've done a lot of talking. In Dreams, Inside, Insidious, and Insidious 4-movie collection, I Spit on Your Grave, and then I Spit on Your Grave DVD with 1, 2, and 3, Jack Frost 2, Juice, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Knock Knock, Lady Snowblood, Lost in Translation, Lost Junction, Lust for Freedom, Machete, MacGruber, Man of a Thousand Faces, Mardi Gras Massacre, Marie Antoinette, The Menu, Miami Vice, Minority Report, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Murder Weapon, and Deadly Embrace. We've got Nail Gun Massacre, Nightmare Sisters, Night Gallery, Night of the Demons, No Direction Home, The Oscar, and The Outsiders. We've got the Panic in Needle Park, Paul McCartney and the Wings rock show, Perdita Durango, The Perfect Score, Piranha, Police Squad, The Producers, The Rage Carry 2, Red Heat, The Red Shoes, Return of the Living Dead Part 2, Revenge, Righteous Kill, Road Trip, Say Anything, See No Evil, Secret Window, A Serious Man, She's the Man, Shock Cinema, Someone Watch Over Me, Source Code, The Stepfather, Straight Outta Compton, and Under the Skin. And then our final part right here, the last of the stuff I haven't seen yet. Tammy and the T-Rex, The Tarnished Angels, Teenage Exorcist, That Thing You Do, Ticks, Troll 2, Top Secret, Vice Academy, The Warriors, We Are Still Here, and Young Frankenstein. So, okay, that has been the room tour. I've got a bunch of other junk and stuff, like down there in the closet. I've got like my camera and stuff, but I don't think you guys really care to see that. But yeah, this has been a fun one. I've done a lot of talking. I'm out of breath. I'm sorry if I've been a little bit low energy on this one, just because, oh boy, like even like my neck and shoulders hurt, like all the like, oh, what is this one, huh? What? So yeah, but it's definitely I don't know, it's been a lot, and I'm just like very happy with how this room has turned out, and I'm just digging this. I'm just like really at peace in this room, and I've just been having a good time down here, whether I'm writing or editing or doing whatever. Just like I just really love this room, and I just love my collection and being surrounded by it, and especially now that it's more curated because I got rid of anything that I didn't like, anything that I didn't need, because I had tons of stuff where I was like, I watched this, I hated it, and I read it and I hated it, and I still had it, and it's just like way better when all that stuff's gone and the collection's like more curated, and you know what I mean. So I know I've rambled a bunch here, but yeah, that was this video. It's a long video. I already know this is like the longest video I've ever done, and so yeah, we'll have some more videos coming soon. I don't know what all is coming next. I just really don't. I've just been busy. I haven't read a whole lot, but we'll probably have a what did I read this month video. I've just been super busy, you guys, and yeah, I don't know. We'll definitely have some more stuff. So thank you all for watching.